Hello! Welcome to this first episode in a series of episodes around the new town of New Moreton. New Moreton, it's going to be built here in, I don't know where this is, somewhere in North America. But you know what, we're going to keep it vague. So, a little bit of background story. New Moreton. It's somewhat based on the original city of Moreton. Not in real life, but from my previous City Skylines game. That's the sort of the roleplay behind it, the backstory. And basically, these developers, these what do you call them, town planners, etc. They've come over from Moreton, and they're looking to build somewhere new. Straight away, I'm getting the impression this is sort of northern US, southern Canada kind of area, and maybe more towards the west coast. It's quite open, it's quite mountainous, quite sort of untouched, like a lot of the western North American coast is. So we've got this other road coming in, and we may as well just go ahead and get started. We want to make sure we've got power first. So yeah, we've got a high voltage line coming in here. Alright, so if we build a power station, here would actually be a good area for it. We're not going to do that, because it's a small town and power stations are very expensive. You know what, let's go ahead and upgrade this first. So, as with a lot of... In fact, you know what? We're going to go grid at first, and then we're going to go wonky road. So, of course, with a lot of North American towns, you get these sort of nice, wide, straight roads. We're going to follow that kind of logic, but this 21st century, a lot of new places, particularly in the sort of Wisconsin area, you're beginning to see a lot of roundabouts, so just plop one here. Make that another main. At some point that could become a nice easy bridge across, and we've got a railway just over there, and there's actually a train passing through. Where are you going? So that's come from Farringdon. Is going to a place called Rogat. I don't know if I've said that correctly, but there you go. Farringdon, so I'm from the UK, as you can probably tell by my accent, so I'm used to hearing the place name Farringdon quite often. But that was Farringdon. It wasn't the letter G in there. So we've got a bit of a grid network already. Right, most important thing is utilities, so let's go ahead and... That doesn't go anywhere, so we just plop that down there. Remove these two. We've got power, and let's look at water. So I hate sewage outlets so much, but that's all we've got. I do think perhaps the water treatment plant, I know it's something cool to unlock, but to be honest with you, a new town wouldn't start with dumping sewage in the 21st century. Though I'm pretty sure that's highly illegal. Of course, there's all the health concerns that go with it. But hey, whatever. Maybe these developers, these people who have come from Moreton are a little bit, trying to do things on the cheap. Or maybe they just don't know. Maybe they just haven't quite looked into the laws and no one's really sort of paying attention. Right, so we've got the sewage outlet. Let's look at water. Should we pump fresh water? I mean, the sea's all the way out there, so that's your salt water. You know what? I think this water around here is pretty fresh. Oh, this is cool. Oh, so we weren't the first ones to build here. There's already. That's awesome. So we could make that a bit of a historic sort of landmark, something for tourists. So let's go ahead, stop talking, and get our water in. So I always like to build my pipes under a road. In fact, you know what? We can go ahead and get rid of that pipe right there. So the game already comes with pipes underground, which is great, and power cables. This is something you didn't have in the previous City Skylines. So yeah, I always like to build pipes underground in the old game, just in case you had to dig up the ground. Cool little. So we're going to go ahead and plop a commercial down there, and then we're going to bring a small road off. Let's fast forward it a bit. So let's go. I did say I was going to build a grid network straight away, so we have got the grid tool for that. I'm not going to use the grid tool because I don't want it to be a complete grid network. I just want the downtown or the central area to be a grid network. So let's drag that out. We will use roundabouts, but I think we'll use them more for major intersections. So let's go ahead and get some residential down here. I'm going to make the residential look very exact in the downtown area, or I should say the starting area. And it's raining. Joy. Okay, let's have a look at this. Food, so that's a restaurant there, they make meals. Here's a place that sells chemicals. Chemical ore. Okay. And let's look at our industry. We don't want too much industry. So I did a bit of research, looked up at some modern examples. Places roundabouts in North America. And I've got a vague idea of the kind of thing I want to build. Great! We've already progressed to Tiny Village. Map tiles, city budget, roads. Cool, so the first thing I want to get is advanced road surfaces. So we can manage the crosswalks and other things. We won't have too much industry. We'll build a bit of industry, but we want to keep the historic area somewhat preserved, so we can actually build several tiles here. So you know what? I'm already going to pull a bit of a funky here and go ahead and build this bridge to the other side, and then we can have our industrial area separated by a river. Now this is quite a flat area here, so we're not going to do much in the way of terraforming. In the future we might, actually, take a look at this bridge over here. This bridge is quite high up, so that suggests to me that there's a reason for that. We might want to think about where boats and things might go. So think about the future, make your bridges higher enough. There's a bit of terraforming here. It's going to make things look a little bit funky. We're going to play into that. So this area obviously is a bridge, so it doesn't have to be a very good looking grid. It doesn't have to be a grid at all. So let's give it a bit of variety. Yeah. No. Is it this tool I want to use? There we go. And our terraforming the other side is already a waste. We'll make the bridge somewhat straight. Okay, that goes up a little bit too high. Let's just dial it back a bit. Go for about there. That is a bit lower. We'll go a little bit lower than that. Still a little bit high, but we might be okay with that. We bring this all down on the other side, smoothen it out. Still looks funky. So we want to unpause the game and let the water, figure things out. So we're just gonna move that over here, build an access road. It's a funky looking access road. Yeah, that's okay. We will extend these areas out. Don't forget to terraform that area as well. So let's unpause this one moment. Let the water come down. Is anyone complaining about anything? Nope. I'm appalled at the healthcare in this city. Well, I'm sorry. Let's run it on while we're in the negative. We'll run it on slow. Can we? There we go. Much smoother, much nicer. Just gonna bring this out a little bit. Smoothing it out. That's already looking much better. And let's do the same over here, smoothing this out. Cool. You know what? Let's work with the train line just here. Let's make it very exact. Nice. And then let's begin our grid network. So 90 degrees. That's already upset. Slope too steep. Alright. That should work. Okay, and let's go ahead and throw our industry in. And we're just gonna throw that out like that and let it figure it out. There's a bit of a slope, but hopefully that's not too much of a slope. Well, actually it does get pretty slopey up here. This area is flat. Yeah, we can always review these things in the future. This area, though, I really want to source out. I've already got some ideas about how I can make this area look really nice. Some more residential in. How long should we have these areas? Let's see. So I went away and just did a little bit of quick research into some cities around the US, and I was also looking for Canadian cities with roundabouts. In fact, I'm still reading it at the moment. So as I've gone with a grid network in the town centre, we're gonna continue with that. I would like to do a slightly different laid out city, but City Skylines 2 still very much follows a grid. As you can see, this is grid, 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 grid. You do get some corner buildings. I want these on the front. You do get some corner buildings, but they're still square corner buildings. They're not, they're not like a 45-degree angle or anything. So we're going to continue with the grid network, even though the grid network's kind of, outdated. We're still gonna, we'll try and make it work. So I went and looked. Where did I look? So I actually just checked Wikipedia, as well as a website called Quora, and it seems like sort of standard city blocks in places like Manhattan, Chicago, all the typical ones. It also gives Melbourne, Australia as an example. They tend to be around the 200-meter mark on the longer side, and around the 100-meter mark on the shorter side. So we'll use that kind of basis. We're going to go for we want to go for 2 short blocks. We'll stick to the City Skylines sort of. You see how it gives you that sort of rounded bit around. The sort of the what do you call it? Squished circle is what I'm going to call it. I'm not the best with the terminology. That's how big the grids are for zoning, so we're going to stick with that. So with Manhattan, the longer side is 274 meters. I have always noticed in Manhattan, the long side is much longer than the short side. The west to east is longer than the north to south. So I don't want to go that long. I want to make it look fairly uniform. Let's see, what's the default number of meters? So let's just go ahead with 200 meters for the longer side. And what's this? 112 meters for the shorter side. So we'll stick to 200 meters. Let's bring that across. And that across again. And already we're gonna delete some of our lovely blocks here. And you up here. So one thing I'm not used to, this is a cool feature of City Skylines 2, but it takes a bit of getting used to. You kind of start your roads in different places, so if I start it there, that counts towards the measurement, so I'm going to go ahead and there we go. Is that? Yeah, so let's make that 200 meters again. So we'll have to remember to go always on the nearest side to the road as to where I'm building to get it exact. So I can't start it there and drag it out because that counts towards the measurement. I've got to start it just there. Is that still 200 meters across though? So 112 down, 200 across, and go to this side. 200 across, and 100. Give me a moment. We'll figure this out. 104 or 112. So it's actually 104 if we go off the bottom here. 104. So let's just update that. So it's going to be 200 by 104 for our grid network. I don't know what's going on down here. It's kind of broken down here. 200 across. Something's not right there. Let's try again. 200 across. You know what? we don't have to. It will guide us, so the guidance is on. That will help a lot. Don't know what happened here, so let's try again. 200 across. 100 and... We don't have to... Yeah, that works. And you know what? We're to reduce congestion, we're not going to fill that one in. We're going to fill that one in. But we want to keep the intersections apart from each other, so let's go 200 across here. 112 up. 112 up again. Up to there. Brilliant. Go across 200 again. 104 up. And that's already a grid network that works. And you know what? We don't have to have it connecting up here as well. Again, reducing congestion and going back on all of our planning 100 times over. So let's build that out. 104. Let's go from the bottom. 104. I just realised we didn't consider that. So we can fix that with an alleyway. It's not going to be exact, everything that we do. In fact, you know what? We can even have that linking up here. So something that's really cool about this game, you no longer have to worry about everywhere you put a road, there's going to be an intersection that breaks up your traffic, because you can simply move the lights, move crosswalks, say no right turn here, no left turn there. Sorry, we do want a right turn there. No left turn here, and that does not interrupt that road whatsoever, but people can turn down it if they want, so that's already quite cool. Now let's stop talking and get these residences zoned. Let's just drag it all the way out here, but just here we're actually going to go and deviate from that and have something sweet and bendy. So these are going to be your... Sometimes you get downtown areas that have these really nice, wealthy neighbourhoods behind them, with sweet little detached homes. So we're actually going to do a bit of that here. So break it up a little. Topography's a bit... Oh dear. A little bit steep there. So let's smooth that out. Sorry. Yeah, we should have thought about that a bit more. So this was actually steeper than I thought it was. Let's really smooth out, actually. Let's work with this. Something's gone wrong. No, it's an autosave. So, a little bit of word on the performance for this game. There is a bit of difficulty. Sorry. For some people. I had frame rate issues at first, and then I followed a guide to a few different settings I can change. So the reason this is filmed actually in 1080p with 30 frames per second is because the hardware. My setup, I expected to be able to use 4K, but the game has some performance issues. But I am confident that in time that will be resolved. And to be honest, I'm kind of glad not to be filming in 4K, because it takes so much longer to edit, to store, edit, upload 4K videos. And as I run another channel where I upload 4K 60 frames per second videos, I am already well experienced in that. It's an outsidey channel. I film vehicles of interest along the lines of sort of tanks, jets, fire engines, presidential motorcades. There's a link on the channel. It's called Code Emergency. And I figured, well, not film for Code Emergency. Why not film a bit of my gaming? Because, you know, I enjoy gaming. So that's what we're going on here. So there's our homes. Let's build a sort of a funky looking waterfront road there. There's our sewage output. Homes filled out here. Notice how I'm going for fairly random shapes to give it a bit of variety along our non-grid area. So the grid areas, everything's going to look very exact. Other areas are going to be a bit unusual looking, so lots of complaints about lack of customers down here, so we're going to go ahead and build an alleyway back here. So we will smoothen this out a little, and perhaps we'll give them a bit more space. So you know what, let's flatten that out, and we definitely will build a bit of a terrace. If we reduce that, we're still going to go with the back. I want the back alley. Okay, so what I've done is I've given them a little bit of a back alley here for commercial premises, and then I've zoned in some row homes up here. We've got to smoothen this out a little bit more. So the slope tool didn't quite work as I intended it, but I'm still learning basically. Let's fast forward this. So a lot of places are complaining they haven't got enough customers, so we're going to give them some more customers. How should we work this area out? You know what? This area can break the grid network a bit and just be a really long road along the top here. Oh no. This is bad. Okay, so that does not look good at all. So, let's see. Get rid of these back here. Get rid of these. So you can see how it does work. That is a bit unusual, but it takes a bit of sort of getting used to, really. So let's soften that out. Sorry, we're going to have to level this out. If you are building between two roads and you've got some steep slopes, it's good to sort of level it out first and then leave a gap in between the actual grids you zone on. So already this is looking a bit more better, and there we go, next milestone. So we've unlocked medium density housing and schools, so we are going to go ahead and place a school. So we'll go ahead and plop that down. but it might look a bit weird. Yeah, it's not too bad, to be honest. So what we'll do is we'll use the slope tool again and just bring that slope up and then soften. No, it still doesn't work, so we'll use the level tool. There we go. And there's your elementary school. It does have some upgrades, so we're going to go ahead and actually stick a playground in there straight away. And you've got the children's clinic to help improve health. We'll probably stick it back there at some point. Okay, that's one of our first plopped buildings, so we're going to give that a name. New Moreton? Nope, New Moreton Elementary School. So it's the first school in a small town. It's the only school, so it gets the name of the town. Look at these row homes here, so if you guys can fill out the plot, that would be good. I don't know why it does this. So as you can clearly see, I've zoned there, but it's only taken up 2 spots. So I do like these small two grid homes, but here, because you've got this terrace thing going on, I want gardens, you know. So getting that zoned out, but I may as well show you actually. I'm going to build a small alleyway up there. Something I think is really cool is you can do a small little row home like this. So actually let's bring that down to about there. Just let them build up. Okay, so you can see what it's built along here. This, I think, looks really cool. You've got a row along here. And this is, I mean, I've seen buildings like this in Brooklyn, in Philadelphia. I'm sure there's some sort of more, Chicago. Sure there's more examples in the Northwest. And then what we can do is build another alleyway down here to about, we'll say there, we don't quite know what we're going to do with it at the moment. And zone out another bunch of buildings. We will zone in the corner here, but it's probably not going to place it properly. No, it isn't. Let's try again. And try again. There you go. So look at the way it steps here. I really like that. And it doesn't look shabby. It looks good. Arena Price, we're going to go ahead and follow you. They've just moved in here by the looks of things. And we will come back to them. So we are getting lots of complaints from Sherpa. The housing market stinks. Where do I complain? So we need more homes. We know that. Healthcare. We need healthcare. We're going to go ahead and place some healthcare somewhere central. And what we'll do, and this is a little bit of thinking. Corner doesn't quite. There we go. There's a corner. So I don't want to build the clinic on the main road, because there might be a bit of congestion, but neither do I want to build the clinic on a road where the ambulances can only turn a certain direction. So what we're going to do is we're going to make use of the roundabout, and we're going to go ahead and remove the traffic lights here, remove the crosswalks, do the same as what we've done with other roads, so no left turn there, no left turn there. It will mean the ambulances will have to turn right, but they can go up to the roundabout and turn around and come back down if they want to, or if the traffic's, not that busy. Hopefully, let's pause it. Hopefully, the ambulance will go straight over. Depends where the call is. I think it's going to be right. Yeah, it's going to be right. So the traffic in City Skylines is a lot more dynamic. I'm hoping ambulances will just turn left there if the traffic isn't too bad. In one of the dev diaries, they said that traffics do things like illegal U-turns if they think it's better. Obviously, for an ambulance, that's not illegal. It's going to an emergency. So there's emergencies just up here. That's allowed. Okay, we've got a bit of shenanigan here with the road. We're going to have to sort that out. So you just saw him do a U-turn there to get turned around. In all fairness, you probably didn't have to do that. So if the call's just here on the right... Oh, no, have they been stood down? They didn't pick anyone up, but... Oh, there we go. Oh, that's interesting. So... That was a bit of dynamic traffic there. You saw him doing that, coming to the middle of the road, and the ambulance had to really get round it. And then they parked there, so they didn't go all the way to the top. So the ambulance didn't have to go to the top. If the call was at this place here, I can't remember it was, the ambulance could have just gone on to the wrong side, like that car did. But that's thinking a bit too... expecting quite a lot. Where's the ambulance? Yeah, there he is, down there. People don't want to have to walk in the road to get to a clinic, so we're going to go ahead and build them. Sidewalk. We'll make this a proper street, but it's still got the... I like how it didn't get rid of what I had made in the intersection there. That is quite cool. So let's see, education. Let's also go ahead and place a high school. One of the first things you want to get sorted when you build a city is education. We're going to break the grid network up here and build it right at the end of this street. Let's bring that out. And bring that a bit more further forwards. We don't want to build too much over here because we want to think about our intersection when we come to building it. But yeah, so we have got a town going there. And I think this is already becoming quite a long video, so I'm probably going to leave it there. Let's have a look. Anything? That's a huge concern. Basically just need to do a bit more zoning. We probably want to move these homes as well. And level it out back here. Okay, so we've just reached the large village milestone, and that's probably where we're going to leave this. So let's just quickly take a look. We've got some industry, we've got some city services. We're going to leave that until the next episode. We start with the fire and the police, and then we'll go into farming and industry, because all of those are really important. There's a plane up there. Hey, let's just quickly... Oh wow, look at this. That is fantastic. So that kind of does have an Antonov AN-124 kind of look. You will notice the cars in this game are kind of based off of real life examples, and I'll go into that when I pop the fire station and the police station down. You know what, before we finish off, I'm just going to very quickly place some buildings along the alleyway just here, because I want to. In fact, we might even go a little bit alleyway mad. So, I'm actually looking for a bit of a thumbnail here. Let's go and zone out our commercial just here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and leave you with that nice little view there. We are having some sort of texture issue. It seems to be when you're at a low level, looking outwards, it doesn't load quite properly. If there's a way to adjust that in the settings, please do let me know in the comments. And to be honest, if you've got any feedback, that would be much appreciated. And if you like the video, go ahead and leave a like, and of course subscribe. It's a new channel, so we're still figuring things out. And of course, it's a new game as well. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode. Ta-ra for now.